guys, welcome back to another episode of R&D Garage. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. And as to everybody else who's been there since the beginning, thank you. So you guys know what to do. The ones who just watch my videos but haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button, because you're going to see what we're up to next. And it's exciting. Okay, so this is kind of funny. So you guys remember the last Civic hatchie, the post-recovery race day, and I told you guys to look inside your rims, make sure there's no liquid, nothing has burst, nothing like that. Well, apparently a week later, my outer CV booty gave up the ghost and just decided to... As you can see, there is a lot of dirt, a lot of schmutz. I'm not going to touch it right now without my gloves on, but it ain't pretty. So we're going to go ahead and replace the outer CV booty on the driver's side, but we're also going to go ahead and replace the passenger side as well, just to kind of keep them on an even keel. We don't know if that one maybe is about to go and just hasn't yet. Maybe something's rubbing. We're going to take care of everything here. We've got new parts. We're going to do the old pull out and compare, and just basically get her in good shape again. We are not even halfway through the race season, and yeah, this isn't good. So let's go ahead, do some upgrades. Okay, so your first clue that your outer CV booty has let go is that you're gonna find this horrible black grease everywhere. You're going to find it in the suspension, you're going to find it all over your rim, you're going to find it in places you didn't know existed. So what we have to do first today is basically wipe down and polish everything. Well, not polish, but basically take a rag and just wipe as much of this off as you can, because you don't want any of this sticking around. And some people are actually allergic to this black grease, so be careful, wear gloves, wash your hands frequently, and just treat it like it's a hostile liquid. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm gonna run with it. Okay, so I'm gonna continue cleaning this. I'm gonna clean off some suspension parts there, and then we're gonna move on. Okay guys, now that we've wiped away most of the grease, and man did it get gross under there, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the knuckle from the lower control arm. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically take out the cotter pin that's on the bottom here, and it's right here. And I have a couple different pliers here. These are actually stainless, so they're a little bit harder to get out. It's got the two arms, and then we're going to pull out. So let me get started on this. Okay, so first I'm going to bend the arms back, perfect, and they're both going to want to come out straight, so, and that actually didn't work so good. There we go. And then remember, you want to squeeze them together, get them as flat as possible, so that you can eventually yank them out. And so you can grab this head. Oops. And try to pry. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to, bright lights. I know Dion's grabbing me another tool. Oh, there we go. Get my head out of the way. Oh, perfect. I can see it coming out now, actually. Come on. Oh, this one is being a bear. Okay, come on. And it's coming. Oof! Okay, well, it kind of broke off, but you know what? That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze these a little bit more. There. That just fell out. Oh, wow, this is probably the worst example of getting out a cotter pin ever. Oh, you know what? Even easier. When in doubt, pull it out the back way. Okay, that's done. Let's move on. Okay, now that the cotter pin is out, we're gonna go ahead and remove that castle nut. And this time we are using this. And basically it's a 17 millimeter. So let's go ahead and do this. And obviously you wanna be a little bit gentle. You don't wanna just... There we go. Perfect. Castle nut is off. Okay guys, well you see I have my puller tool on, ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it until the ball joint pops. And it should be pretty loud, so just letting you know. And can we get a little bit more leverage here? Oops. Ah, see, you guys hear that? Means it just popped off. Perfect. Okay guys, I'm gonna take off my puller tool here and then I'm gonna take off the nut. And so you can definitely do this part by hand. And yeah, it's like super loose. Perfect. Okay, so that tool is off. And now this is the kind of, basically, okay, so you see I have my wrench on here. I'm not gonna be turning it here. I'm gonna have my impact on the behind it, on the nut. And so this is basically just to hold on. Perfect. And it fell into the middle of the car, but that's okay. And yeah, time to move on. Okay guys, now we're gonna bang this bolt out from the back. This is a bit of a bear to get out, so that's what we're doing. There we go. And let's see, we should be able to, let's see, do we have the, here we go. Perfect. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now using my impact again in a 14 millimeter socket, I'm going to pull this bolt out from the back of the shock fork. Beautiful. Let's move on. Okay, now we're going to pull out the fork. And it should just... may have to. This is like one of those puzzles as a kid where it's kind of boop, weird to get out, but once it is, there you go. This is like one of the cleanest jobs I've ever done. I'm just telling you guys right now. Maybe not. Okay, so the next step in getting this all loose and taken apart, I'm gonna basically hold up with one hand on the upper control arm. I'm gonna push up with the other hand on the brakes, and hopefully everything will disconnect. Okay, cross your fingers. Okay, I'm gonna put one hand, there we go. Yes, I feel it, beautiful. And just be careful because everything, I think it just settled back in. Everything is sharp and heavy, but basically we got it, kind of. Do we have it? Oh, there we go. So you have to reach up more than you think, and obviously don't get your fingers pinched or anything like that, but it is now off. Whew. Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay guys, now we're going to pull out the axle from the rear of the brake assembly. So to do that, I'm going to pull up and out with the brake assembly and try to finagle the axle out. So like that, and just like that. Yes, done. Okay guys, so I'm going to use my slide hammer now to get the axle out. And you may see Dion's hand in there, which is perfectly fine. I just don't have the wing space or wingspan to actually hold on to everything while I do this. And it's such a long assembly right here. So that's all I'm saying. But he's got a good hold on it. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the slide hammer. And don't do this against your stomach because it like really hurts. Okay. Come out. Got it. Oh, there we go. Oh, that did not feel good, but it's out. Oh, baby axle is out. Let's move on. Okay guys, let's do a quick comparison here. So this is the new axle, this is the old axle. So right away you can see this boot is like super squashy and these are super stiff. This isn't quite a race prepped axle, but it's a little bit better than OEM and it'll work a little bit better on the hatchie. This was just kind of a straight up OEM replacement. And you can see, man, it exploded. The problem is when you're going about 80 miles per hour on a track, higher, you know, for maybe about half hour or more, everything starts to swell. Like the RPMs, they get super high, everything swells. It's like, you remember those like rides as a kid where it was like one of those centrifugal force rides where it like tries to fling you out? Basically, that's what this is. And so you can also see there's slightly more kind of folds in the rubber here than there is in here. So it looks like it's just a little bit more durable. Let's go with durable. So, okay, let's throw this guy in. Okay guys, so if you're anything like R&D Garage, you like to keep a couple spares at home. Well, so do we, obviously. And so we happen to have this whole axle assembly in stock. I was originally only going to take care of the bootie right here, but seeing how squashy both sides are, I'm just going to go ahead and replace the whole thing because the last thing you need is to get the car running again and then all of a sudden the other side explodes. So yeah, that's the plan. Just swap this out for this guy right here. Okay guys, well what you don't know is that a couple hours just passed because we've been cleaning everything, as evidenced by everything got completely filthy. But that's okay, that's what makes a job fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, as you can see, I already slid the axle back in. I didn't show it because it's basically just a reverse of what I showed you like 2 minutes ago. So this is in. Now I'm going to slip the splines into the back of the brake assembly. So very, very important that you do not pull on the axle because you'll pull it right back off and then you got to start all over again. So what I'm going to do is gently lift this up just a little bit like this. And I'm going to push this back. And again, it's not the easiest and I probably just got grease all over my face, but we're gonna, yes, push it in just like this. And again, you don't want to pull on the axle. I'm gonna, oh, that hurt, sorry. The lip of the rotor just bit me. Okay, so we're going like this, just to kind of get it even and pushed in. Perfect. Okay guys, so I'm gonna have Dee help me with this one just because if I try to do it all by myself, I'm gonna block the camera. So what I'm gonna do is reach up on the upper control arm again and on the brake assembly, and he's gonna slide it into the second spot. I was able to get it into the first, but now it needs a little bit more finagling. So here we go, I've got lifting up on both. There we go. Yes, you got it. Beautiful. And now you can see, whew, the splines are all the way out the front. Gorgeous. Thanks, babe. Hub nut time. Okay, you guys know how to do this, but I'm just going to do it finger tight for now. And then we're going to go tackle the castle nut. Okay, let's reposition for the castle nut. Castle nut time. Okay, remember that goes right here. We're just gonna finger tight, just for now. Oops. Okay. There we go. And this one can be a little weird going on, like if there's burrs on it. So just take it nice and slow and it should be fine. So even though I said finger tight, I'm just going to tighten a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Okay guys, shock fork time. So again, this is one of those little finagling things, but I found if you kind of bring it back here and then move it into place like that, you should have it just fine. I'm actually very impressed with myself right now. Okay, I'm gonna go grab the bolts. Okay guys, so with the shock fork, I tried it both ways, either the top bolt first or the bottom bolt. And honestly, I think the top bolt fits first a little bit better. So remember, if you see a peak of color here, you gotta make sure it's seated fully up against. So let's go ahead and put in the bolt, and we're just gonna do it finger tight. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the bottom bolt. Okay guys, so I'm going to have Dee help me out just a little bit more here. He's going to man the jack, and when I say that, we're kind of using it as a reverse pulley tool. In basically that we're trying to line up these bolt holes from the shock fork down here, and so the lower control arm. And so I'm going to use my awl, and I'm going to stick it in the hole to kind of even up, you know, make sure it matches, and then I'm going to slip the bolt in. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, actually he did a good job. That is pretty much in. So I'm going to swap it out, and it may move a little when I take it all out, but if I move it, there we go. You guys see that? Perfect, slipped right in. So I'm going to go ahead and use the hammer and just kind of bang it a little bit more into place. Oops, without hurting myself. There we go. Oops. Perfect, it's in. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the bolt or the nut, and this is looking good. My gloves for this one. Perfect. Okay, nut is on. Whew. Okay guys, now it's time to torque down the castle nut. So we're starting at 36 foot-pounds, and remember we have to line up the tines so that you can actually stick the cotter pin through. So I am luckily sitting on the floor, so I'm not gonna fall. And let's get this done. And I literally can't even see it right now, so. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Now let me see if they line up, which they almost do, but not quite. Crap. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten just a little bit more. And actually that looks pretty good. Okay, let's go get that cotter pin. Okay guys, now it's time to tighten down the bolt on the shock fork, on the top one. And as you can see, we brought up the jack just a little bit higher so that everything is compressed where it needs to be for it to actually be torqued. And we're torquing it to 32 foot-pounds. So it's gonna be kind of hard for you guys to see, but just know that it's basically the top bolt. There we go. Okay, let's get that bottom one. Okay guys, now we're gonna torque down the bottom bolt on the lower shock fork. So it's 17 millimeters and we're torquing it to 47 foot-pounds. And again, we still have the jack in place, compressing everything. Plus we got a wrench over there so that it doesn't just spin while I torque. Let's get to torquing. And also you don't wanna hit anything. Apparently I could have tightened this up just a little bit further. Come on. There we go. Okay guys, we are almost done. Okay guys, well I had Dee hop in the hatch to hold down the brake pedal for me, and I'm going to be torquing this down to 134 foot-pounds. It's a 32mm hub nut, and as my feet are planted firmly on the ground, I shouldn't fall, but maybe we'll have another TikTok go viral. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to this end, and I'm going to press down with this, and I should be fine. Perfect! Nothing like using your body weight. Okay, well this is torqued down and we are good. We are moving on. Okay guys, it's time to stick our nut. So what you want to do, this seems to work really, really well. And so I'm just going to place it flat above like this and bang on it with my metal hammer. And you want it to line up. So we're almost there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Ooh, that looks good. Yeah, now we're truly staked. Awesome. Well guys, aside from putting the wheel and tire back on, this side is completely done. So I already kind of checked up on the other side, and unfortunately the same issue is going on. It's not quite as bad as this side with the CV boot, but you know what? I'm just gonna check everything, or not check everything, I'm gonna actually replace that side as well, do some bleeding of the brakes, and then we should be good to go. Just the people who know me, I probably won't be there on Wednesday, so, because this is going to take a little bit of time. I'm sorry, you guys. But at any rate, thanks for joining me on this extremely dirty journey today. I had a lot of fun getting my hands dirty. I'm so glad she's getting back, and yeah, getting better. So, again, subscribe to R&D Garage, turn on those notifications. We got a lot more cool stuff coming up, and I can't wait to show you. Have a great week, you guys.